this. Wait. And beginning.
I said, should we change our clothes? She said, no, let's just go. So here we go. Episode 2. You ready for this? Welcome back to Truth Empowered Relationships.
Adventures in Truth.
Yeah. Let's go again. Should we go again?
No.
Welcome to Truth Empowered Relationships adjunct podcast called Adventures in Truth, which is where Heather and I share our relationship with you because we live this truth empowered relationship. So we're answering these questions. Go.
We are an example. The only thing is, while we were recording last episode, I was thinking to myself, normally we don't sit and face away from each other, though.
True.
But so this is a little, and we talk to each other, but I know that the entire time we talk to each other, you're going to be worried about whether or not the mic is picking up on us.
That is basically what's going. That's why I said, well, maybe we should do. You're in one room and I'm in the other, and we each have a microphone.
Yeah,
I worry about you. I worry about you being able to listen and not being distracted.
So I just wanted to point that out so that we're facing this way so that you're a part of it.
Right. Ordinarily, we would be
we're talking intimately to one another.
That's
like
fair.
this.
So it does feel that much different.
Yeah. And I'm watching you. I was noticing on the last episode, that I watch you talk in the video right in front of us, and it's like I'm talking to you.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay, so this session is about sensitivity.
It is.
What was and
well,
is...
it's the same session, but this is the second question.
Session 1. Wait.
Session 1, question 2.
Yes. What? You go first this time.
No. Okay. I feel like I had a lot of things taught to me, and I had to sift through which ones resonate and which ones not. And the idea of like being, quote, a gentleman, end quote, is to... Oh,
ladies first.
And because I talk a lot.
All the more reason for you to go first.
I like my son said yesterday, what did he say? You talk a lot, but not too much. Is that right?
Yes. Okay, so what was and is your relationship with sensitivity? Action.
Okay. The last time you went first, so I got to think about my answer while you were talking and listen to you. Which may be not fair to you because I shouldn't be splitting my sensitivity, but I had answers popping. Well, let's start with this. The earliest back I can remember, well, that's not even true.
Would you like me to go first?
Only so the story will form. Do you mind?
Nope.
Because I have here. I'm like bouncing around on the timeline. And I think that's difficult.
And I'm just going to unwind. It would be the same no matter what.
Okay, you do yours. What is your relationship with sensitivity?
Okay, I'm going to insert was.
Okay. Right, was and is, before and after.
What was my relationship with sensitivity? I was made fun of for my sensitivity. I was criticized for my sensitivity. I was made to feel... I was in an environment that led me to believe that my sensitivity was something wrong with me. I'm too sensitive. Like, really too sensitive. I'm overly dramatic. I need a thicker skin. These are things that were said to me, and I actually did need a thicker skin in my childhood. Because being as sensitive as I am naturally just made everything harder. But now that I am an adult and I'm living my own life and I'm raising a child and I'm partnered with a person who respects emotions and sensitivity, I'm really finally getting to know myself like naturally for the first time ever. I'm finally discovering the truth of my sensitivity, and it's beautiful. So my relationship with sensitivity was strained, difficult, damaged, unhealthy, um, scared. I was afraid of my own sensitivity. Now they are gifts. Like I can tell when I'm getting sick because I am so sensitive and so attuned to my body, and I can um, intuit all sorts of neat things because I'm so sensitive. Um, my emotions tell me so much about who I am and how I experience the world. It gets me out of situations that do not feel healthy for me, do not feel respectful to who I am, and so my sensitivity is a tool that I am finally using like to its peak ability, and it just keeps getting better and better. So I enjoy things more. I um, listen to my dislike of things more. And the sensitivity allows me, and I don't want to linger on truth because that was last episode, but the sensitivity allows me to recognize truth even more. And vice versa. Truth allows me to be sensitive. And so, like, they work together. And so, my relationship with sensitivity, I would say now, is appreciative. And um, I respect my sensitivity. Even when the truth is that I, like, wish I didn't have certain emotions at certain times. They exist, though, and I listen to them and I honor them. But yeah, I might have more come up after listening to you.
Okay.
Your turn. What
It was
was
helpful to listen to you. Go,
okay?
you ask it, go.
What was and is your relationship with sensitivity?
When I got home from having experienced my sexual trauma, all I could manage to get out, I was standing in my closet. Not in, but like right at the edge of my closet. And I don't remember if my dad asked me what's wrong or not, but I remember, I think he probably did. And I said, I feel sad, Daddy. I was little, 4, as I remember. And he said, don't be sad, son. There are people in wheelchairs. And so my relationship with sensitivity took a devastating turn at that point because I then tried desperately to block out sadness or whatever the feelings that I was feeling, which I associated with sadness at that point were. That wasn't just sadness. There's a lot of complicated emotions involved in sexual trauma. That's all I could get out.
Mm.
So blocking out sadness was devastating for me psychologically and sensitivity wise. I also was made fun of, just like you were sharing. I had an uncle that would constantly insult me for being, quote, too sensitive, end quote. Not the only person. There were many people in my life who would tell me versions of that. And I thought of something I thought of while you were talking was after the sexual trauma, after my dad said that to me, I remember laying in bed. I don't know how long after. Can't be, I have to be honest about it, so I can't be sure. But I remember asking myself questions. And I used to get like clear yeses and clear nos. And it was quiet. And I thought, oh no. I can't ask myself questions anymore. I've never told that to anyone. I haven't thought of that in so many years. Yeah. And I have a version of me that was like my relationship to, I'll use the word God, was my relationship to the truth inside me, you know? Anyway, so I started to hate my own sensitivity. And so at the same time that I was sensitive, there was contempt for my own sensitivity, which is what I was shown in my life. Both were and sometimes are, but it's shifting, and it shifted a lot going on at the same time. So I would make space around both the emotion and the hatred for the emotion so that they could flow. Because before I did that, before I learned to do that, the hatred would make the emotion freeze in place, and it could last for forever, for years or forever. So I would like put space around the fact that I hated my own emotions. Because in reality, all of that comes from here. And what I just shared the other day is like, I can literally feel the tension in my chest slowly opening and the emotions feeling, these sort of like sad, beautiful emotions flowing in my chest. So my relationship to sensitivity is getting stronger and stronger and stronger with every passing moment, with every passing day, with every passing year. I am regaining my sensitivity, my natural sensitivity that I was born with.
Anything else?
I liked your nod. Your nod was, it was really nice to see. Maybe we could edit these together. It's only 12 minutes. What do you think?
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, so you had a yes or no in your body. That's your human design, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your ability to hear a yes or a no in your body.
Okay.
That's amazing that you pinpointed being able to do that as a kid.
Thank you. And I wanted to tell him about human design, but go ahead. Oh, that's all you want to say? You said you had a question.
Oh, do I have a
Thank
question?
you. I don't take compliments in well. Thank you.
Do I have a question? Oh, are you able to do the yes or no now?
Well, I haven't asked myself in a while, so I'm not sure, but I certainly can tell you, like, the place I was recently affiliated with and am no longer affiliated with, when I experienced what I believed was deceptive behavior, I remember laying in bed that Sunday night, and work would be the next day, and I'm like, I can't go back in. I can't go back in. Can't go back in. And I won't say who this was or what entity this was, but I was a clear no. Yeah. And I get clear no's. But I also recognize, and my friend David Hughes is really big on this too, that just because I'm afraid of something doesn't mean I'm not supposed to do it.
Right. Yeah.
So there's that too. A no in my body and I'm afraid are not the same thing. A no in my body is like I get so tensed up. It's one of the gifts of having had long COVID, is that I got very aware that I could only take a certain amount in my nervous system. And I can take much more now. But now when I feel my nervous system going like this, compressing, I'm like, I'm out. Somehow I'm out. I have to express. I have to exit the situation. No time to waste. No tension to waste, you know?
Yeah. Oh, this is not from the conversation, I promise. I just have been holding in a yawn for a while.
Okay. Well, we're leaving in. Are we going to leave in a yawn?
Absolutely, we're going to leave in a yawn.
Leaving in a yawn. So we're only at 14. If we add those together, I think we're toward about 40. Should we make them one episode? And we'll just call this part 2?
Well, I have more questions. Why are you?
Because I thought you were done. Take your time. Take your time. Go. Let's settle in.
I'm curious about your relationship physically with sensitivity.
Oh, that's really good. I would start to get hypervigilance of my own body sensations so that, and it's not so prevalent anymore, but sometimes you would see me like sort of like at the dinner table. Do you know what I'm talking about? Bent over at the dinner table. Do you ever see me like that?
Just sitting there,
Yeah,
or
just
are you
sitting there.
a little bit? Yeah. Yeah.
But often days I sit up straight, and I've mentioned that to you.
Yeah.
I used to get a lot of resistance to pleasure because of my sexual trauma, sadness, certain emotions would make me want to double over and just pretend, just smile and pretend it's all going to go away like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be a body reaction to sensitivity. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I was spanked too many times to count growing up. Like, it was like my parents relied on spanking as a form of punishment, as discipline. Um,
Corporal punishment, because if we start talking about the objects that were used and the ages that you were, it's not just spanking. I need to be clear. It was corporal punishment. It was a physical violation of your body. Go ahead.
yes, I agree with that. So I like mixed with other things like being pinned to the floor, tickled beyond my comfort level.
Your nipples were, yeah, go ahead. I just
Yeah.
don't want you to leave anything out.
Well, okay, so my body was not treated with respect in any way. We'll just say it like that.
Good. Good meaning I feel satisfied because I want people to get the full experience of it's not just spankings. You were mistreated. But go ahead.
Yeah. Um
And I'm angry about it. That's why I'm interrupting you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
okay. So, I like that you said you're angry about it, because that helps me understand
Why
why
I'm
you're
interrupting.
interrupting, because otherwise I'm left to be like, am I not telling it to his satisfaction? So, which I wasn't. Your anger wanted to be satisfied. Okay. So, I checked out completely from my body, basically. Like, at one point you could like touch my shoulder and I wouldn't even know if you were touching my shoulder or not. Do you remember rubbing my shoulder in the beginning, and I would be like, I can't even feel that.
Yep.
It was really bad. Um so I completely disconnected from my body. And that was my relationship with physical sensitivity was. So now my relationship with physical sensitivity is, I now, through our own experiments and our own journey and our own healing one another journey, I now trust my body. I now feel pleasure in my body. I now, it's like I can feel with my body, which is, it's important to be able to feel with your body. But yeah.
Thank you for bringing this around to physical sensitivity. I wouldn't have thought of doing that.
You know, like people used to do, like, you've done this before, touch your fingertips and you can feel the ridges. I'd be like, huh? What? Now I can. Now I can actually feel it. Now I can actually feel every part of my body where I'm holding tension. And yeah, some days it gets really annoying being able to do that. But other days, even the annoying days, I'm grateful to it, because then I get to move my body and pay attention to what emotions that tension brings up for me. And like I get to acknowledge all of the signs, the physical signs that my body is trying to tell me, whereas I was not able to whenever I was denying myself sensitivity, when I was desensitized. You helped me resensitize, Mr. Founder of resensitization therapy.
My dad only spanked me once. He felt guilty. I know that from that one spank, it was about crossing the street. I was 2, according to him. But I remember it. Uh, I I would panic when I crossed the street. But no, he only spanked me one time. But it's interesting being a sensitive person. My parents, I got to see, there were lots of things I didn't like coming at me from both my parents and from other people in my family, including the sexual trauma. But my parents loved each other. And I remember lots of times jumping in their bed in the mornings. They were very happy to spend time with each other. So when they're laying in bed, everything's great. I can't remember any time anything went south. Running and jumping into their bed. Well, they would tickle me sometimes, and this is embarrassing even to admit. It sounds like it would be pleasant, but I already had a problem with a strong no because of the sexual trauma. So it went on past my ability to recognize or voice. And for years and years, I felt ticklish in areas where I should probably be feeling sensuality. I was just ticklish.
What areas would you say that is?
Oh, like here. You touch me now.
Your ribs?
Yeah, like go. I mean, I'm not trying to be provocative, but you touch me here, I'm not ticklish anymore from you. No. And usually from you, I'm not ticklish because the only time you ever put tickling energy into me is when you're actually like specifically we're joking around and you're tickling me. You put sensual energy in. There's something about me being able to understand your touch energetically that calms me. I was facing you. I don't know how the sound is. My reality is it sounds much better when I go like this. The first person that I remember as an adult touching me, and it was cool because he's in a male body, he identifies as male. So it was nice to get touched because my dad would hug me and the hugs felt nice. Rick would sometimes, he had been touched by his mom in a way that he enjoyed, like she would stroke his back. So he'd rub my back in those classes and it felt nice. What I love about your touch is that it restores my ability to speak up. Like there was a time, and I just told you this, there was a time that I was at a New Year's party and I identify as heterosexual completely. It's just who I am. I would not want to have any other kind of intimate relationship. And it was a man who identifies as gay, and I guess that's not identify, who is gay, but I don't know if he's a man. That's why I hesitated with my words. But he was a gay person in a man's body, and he slapped my butt. And even thinking about telling you the story, I tense up at the base of my spine. And I didn't say anything, but I called the host of this party. This is many years ago. I would say something despite my back tensing up. But I called the host of this party and I said, you better tell that guy not to do that again because blank. I gave some kind of a physical threat, which I wouldn't, if you know me, I wouldn't do that because it's against the law. Pure and simple. It's against the law. I wouldn't do that.
But you were really upset.
But to grab his hands and put him to his side, push it. Oh yeah, I would do that. Yeah, I was very upset, but I wasn't able. I freeze in those moments because of the sexual trauma. I talk about this in the sessions. The acute stress responses, fight or flight, which most people know of, also freeze, introduced by Peter Levine, fawn, which is trying to please someone so the threat goes away, and faint, which is where you give your will over and just do what you're told. But I spent a lot of my life frozen. And so sensitivity physically, I also experienced still frozenness. That's part of it. Mm-hmm. So thanks for bringing that up, but not with you. I feel completely safe physically, emotionally. And as I say it, there were times getting to this point where you would lose your temper. Thank goodness you look like Robert De Niro in terms of the way you deliver your lines. But it was, you were taken over by stuff and you're not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I was. It was scary for all of us, for both of us.
Yeah. But living in an environment of truth, and truth means respect for sensitivity too, because emotional truth is the truth of what's happening inside you. I think it relaxes a person into realizing that they can say, I'm angry versus screaming.
Thank you. It just came up in me. We flashed back to when I would get hijacked by my anger and my voice would get just Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, angry, loud.
And and I do what I told you, and
Yeah. And you did not get taken over as often as I did in those moments. And you stuck with the truth and you stuck with your sensitivity and you taught me that the anger I grew up on, which is the anger that I showed up with, was unnecessary. And there are other ways to do things. And not only did you save our relationship by doing this, but you saved my own relationship with myself. Because I stayed away from anger as much as I could because I didn't want to be like the people I grew up watching. But because I had no other examples, no other touchstones for healthy expression of anger, I fell back on what I knew and what I learned before you. So I'm not only deeply grateful for me and our relationship, but I'm also deeply grateful for the example that is being shown to our son. Because I didn't get that. And it means a lot to me that he is getting a healthy example of emotional expressions and staying true to your sensitivity and being honest with yourself and those that you, those that you feel safe being honest with, but always honest with yourself.
yeah. And that's where truth and sensitivity are related, because when I started disconnecting with myself is when I started not allowing the full range of emotions. So I lost my own connection to the truth. You're welcome. Thank you for trusting me.
And
oh,
scene.
I forgot we were recording. Bye. See you next session or episode.